Today on CityCast Chicago, the new year is full of new possibilities, good or bad. Let's be real, anything can happen in Chicago. But what would we rather do if given the choice? Well, the team is here with a new game for this new year. It's Thursday, January 9th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. I'm joined in the building by executive producer Simone Alicea. What's good, Simone?
Hey, Jacoby.
We've also got producer Michelle Navarro with us. How you feeling, Michelle?
Hey, Jacoby, I'm good. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Glad to have both of y'all back on the mic. While we're sitting here thinking about the new year, new goals, new possibilities, we thought we'd play a little game, a Chicago-themed Would You Rather. If you never heard of it, basically, we're going to pose a series of choices, and would you rather do this or would you rather do that? And we'll decide what the best choice is, and the only way we know how, with some spirited debating. I'm going to get us started off with the very first one. And this is probably one I care about more than my guest today. But these are conversations that y'all have to listen to all the time. So the Bulls are currently on a 27-year drought since their last three-peat. Would you rather see a championship in the next 27 years or the ownership difference? The Bears, a 40-year drought. And let's be clear, in both cases, nostalgia is still there. Fandom is still there. Like, people still love these teams. We're still riding these championships. Would you rather see a Bears championship in the next 40 years or the ownership change hands?
It sounds like one is like, do you want to make an investment and possibly wait for the long term? And the other one is like, would you just want it now, quick and fast, but at least it's in your lifetime and it's for sure. I would personally pick seeing each of them win, because even if the ownership changes, it's still not guaranteed that I'm going to see all three of them win in my lifetime. So I would just go straight. I want to see them all win before I die and just call it a day. Everyone else after me, I'm sorry, y'all. That's y'all problem now.
I hard disagree. I think the way that Jacoby has laid out the timelines here, it's what you have said, Jacoby, is that in the next few decades, one championship for each team. That could happen if the ownership changes. Like, that could happen quicker if ownership changes, depending on how it goes. I would rather take the gamble and shake things up.
Can I maybe make one alteration there? Maybe this will make it a little tougher.
Sure.
In 2025, or, leading into 2026, would you rather
that's
see
a different question.
A championship, or would you rather see ownership change?
That's a completely different question. You see what I'm saying? That's completely different.
Yeah, let me change that up a little bit. The reason I had brought the droughts in is because I'm like, it shows what how one championship can be lived off of for a while. Like, if Detroit Lions win a championship this year, they ain't got to win one for another couple decades, and people will hold on to this one. But maybe to make it a little more interesting, because I liked how Michelle talked about sort of long-term versus short-term. This year, in 2025, would you rather see a Bulls or Bears championship, either one, or Reinsdorf or the McCaskey family sell the team?
If that is the case, I will take the short-term win. Over the long term.
You take the championship.
I take the championship. Yeah.
Michelle, you?
Now that you're doing it like that, I feel like, part of me still wants to go with the short term. But if under this ownership, they've been bad for that long, is like, do y'all deserve that win under your belt in this scenario?
That's a good point. I am split on here. For the Bears, I would take new ownership over a championship personally, because I've already seen how long ownership can hang on to the team with one championship. We are in the 40-year anniversary of the 1985 team, essentially. And my entire life, people have been complaining about the McCaskies. We're 15 years since our last playoff win. And so I would take new ownership there over the championship. The Bulls, though, I would take I would take the championship over new ownership.
My whole disposition towards sports in general, the whole point of them is they are feel good enterprises. The whole point of having a sports franchise is for the city to feel pride in the city, to feel good about the sport. Like there is no other goal. Like the sort of the business of it, the money making goal for the city is sort of secondary. And who the ownership is, I kind of don't care that much about. What I care about is how good does Chicago feel in 2025 and for the 20 or 40 years that could follow that championship. And I feel like that is worth it, regardless of sort of the long-term consequences.
I would take new Bears owners over a championship this year, and I would take a Bulls championship over the new owners. So I'm going to lock in my answer there. You both would take the championships in the short term.
Yeah,
give me back-to-back championships.
Give me the parades.
The city needs it.
Give me
I need the
fun,
parade.
yeah.
I need the vibes. I need the 2025 t-shirts.
Yes.
I think a McCaskey selling the Bears parade might be as big as a Super Bowl parade in some respects. So my next one, I don't know. Maybe it's as difficult a conversation. I didn't think that first one was going to be as tough. But for this one, would you rather ride a packed cigarette smoke filled L car for 24 hours or be trapped in the middle of a Lollapalooza sized crowd playing terrible music for 24 hours? So in both cases, you're locked in, very difficult to move, very difficult to change positions. Which one would you rather be stuck in for an entire day?
This was easy for me. I'm taking the secondhand smoke and I'm chilling on the L because the music in there is probably going to be better than whatever the bad music is. Like someone's going to have their loudspeaker. I'm going to get to people watch. And Lollapalooza sized crowd sounds like a nightmare already.
Hey, on New Year's Eve, coming home, bro, red line was a mess. I think I got on at Grand. The line down to the station, packed. People were all the way up on the stairs. And when I finally got in the car, packed, standing up, people was drinking, people was smoking weed. And I agree with you, Michelle. I'd prefer that experience of people drinking, people smoking weed, people playing music on the train than being in the middle of 100,000 people in the park, no matter how good it feels outside.
So I disagree. I think I'm going to take the Lollapalooza crowd actually, and the main reason is I already feel, especially someone who takes the red line and that has the subway stations during like peak commute. I already feel so claustrophobic. And there's no way to move, right? Like you can move through the car, but fundamentally you're still stuck on that car for 24 hours. You are in that one place. If I am in the crowd, there are still several options to sort of move over the course of that 24 hours. And at least I'm outside. At least I can see sky, I can see air. No matter how bad the music is, no matter how pressed those crowds are. So I would take the Lollapalooza crowd. I think that is more survivable and less crazy making than again, assuming and the other stipulation here is that for 24 hours the L car is packed, not like you're just 24 hours on the L and you're getting normal like passenger commute. No, you're saying 24 hours it's packed. So yeah, no, I'll take the Lollapalooza crowd.
No, Lolla is headliner. 8 o'clock, you're in the middle. There's no gap space. There's nowhere to go. I think at least the train car is funny. Michelle, over to you. What are yours?
All right. So I think this is definitely the easier one. Would you rather add giardiniera to every dish you eat for the rest of your life or mild sauce?
Mild sauce.
It's not a question.
It's good. I think I would rather. I think it's hard because I do add hot sauce to everything, but I do have giardiniera in my fridge, and I do add it to a lot of stuff already.
So here's my secret Chicago confession. I'm not that big on giardiniera. Like, I think,
Same.
and I love like pickled stuff. I don't know. I feel like I'm really picky. I like spicy things, but I'm really picky about like what kind of spicy it is. And giardiniera is often just like painful for no reason.
Oh, I love it.
I find.
I put it on sandwiches, on random things. I'll just throw it on.
When I first read this question, I had a silly Simone idea. Because you're thinking about every single meal. It means you're adding it to, it also means you're adding it to like your desserts, right?
Soups, mac and cheeses,
literally
ice creams.
everything. So I was thinking about ice cream in particular. And I was like, actually, mild sauce on like vanilla ice cream, that could possibly slap.
That might bust.
That might be really good.
If people are listening and they're not familiar with the items we're talking about, one, I don't know where the hell you've been, but also let's just be nice. I don't know, you might be new here or something like that. Giardiniera is, as Simone mentioned, like a set of pickled vegetables, typically like carrots, celery, bell peppers, cauliflower, peppercini peppers, some vinegar, herbs, spices, mild sauce. Been made a bunch of different ways. You might find it at like Harold's and Uncle Remus, a Sharks, ton of like corner store places carry mild sauce, like your local like chicken joint in your neighborhood probably got mild sauce. Sometimes a very sweet, can be very tangy.
The recipes are closely guarded in general. I think it's like a tangier, more flavorful barbecue sauce is kind of more how I think of it.
I think like some recipes have like a mixture of ketchup, barbecue sauce, hot sauce, vinegar, mustard, maybe some sugar, some paprika, some garlic powder. So again, you can get anything from sweet to tangy to a slight heat. And because of that, there is a range of mild sauce that I think you could make. It's not going to be great on everything. There's a good amount of food that is going to absolutely complement well. Vegetables and mild sauce, so good. So Michelle, is your final answer giardiniera or mild sauce?
It would be giardiniera.
Okay.
I like
that.
Okay, this one is probably a little harder. So would you rather skinny dip in the Chicago River, but you have to run up the stairs and get your clothes on a street bridge, or jump in the lake fully clothed, but you have to run across Lakeshore Drive afterward?
Oh, interesting.
I really wish y'all could see some of Michelle's other options. Some of these things she wrote down.
It has to be hard. Like, that's the point.
Butt naked in the river or running across, like you talking about Lakeshore Drive, cars flying.
Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable Lakeshore Drive.
Like running across that joint, like weighted down by the lake.
So are you more afraid of dying, or are you more afraid of being perceived as a skinny dipper in the river?
Yeah. Are you more afraid of being naked in public or of possibly getting hit by a car? Which ironically, it'd probably be easier to run across Lakeshore Drive if you were naked, I think. I think probably you'd be more visible.
Yeah. More people would slow the hell down.
But there would definitely be videos of you across many social media platforms.
Sure. This is a tough one, actually.
I'm going to go with almost getting hit by a car. I'm going to be honest.
I think I also am going to go with being hit by a car.
Less to do with the naked and more to do with the river.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's
a quick dip too. Like, I'm not asking you to take a whole swim. I'm not asking you to take a lap.
Doesn't matter.
Like, it's just like
it doesn't
a dip,
matter.
get out.
It doesn't matter. You got. I assume you got to get head under. Like, I assume you got to go
a little
under
jump
the water.
in, jump out.
No. We talked to, it's interesting because there's been a lot of work on the Chicago River to rehabilitate the river. And it is so much cleaner than it used to be. Jacoby, I know you've been out kayaking in it. They were supposed to do a swim in the Chicago River last year, but it ended up having to be moved. They couldn't quite get the permits together
they said
for it.
Maybe excitement and fanfare will pressure whoever is responsible for giving us this permit. They'll let us do this. And the city was like, we ain't approve that shit.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But there is still a part of me that I would find it jumping, there's something different about jumping in naked too that feels, I don't know,
Yeah.
it isn't. If you're in a swimsuit and you're in the
You're in the
Chicago
thing.
River, you're still in it, but I don't know, there's something about it that just feels.
I will say though, of the two, there does seem to be something overwhelmingly liberating about the first one.
Yeah.
The idea of just off the bridge into, like, if the river was just like, if it was the lake or if it was a pool or something, like, to go down and then come out in all your glory and strut up the stairs. Ain't no running. Strut up the stairs to my clothes. There is something that feels very liberating about that act. And it also feels like something the city would do in mass. Like if this wasn't an individual thing, but like sort of like that naked bike ride that I still don't understand how is like allowed to happen. That feels like something more people would do, like in like a group. And if we all did it and it was a celebration of bodies, and I feel like that could be an event. The buck naked river jump. I don't know. I feel like we get enough good weather that if people wanted to use either the lake or the river or one of our dozens of lagoons, it'd be a thing. We want to make sure if you're listening to this episode and you disagree with everything we're saying, there's always a space for your voice to be heard. 773-780-0246. What would you rather do? Would you rather butt naked jump in the river or the death run across Lakeshore Drive wearing an extra 10 pounds of wet clothes on your back? Let's finish out with our executive producer, Simone Alicea.
Yeah, you know me, I've always got local government on the brain. And so
I was going to do that in my setup, but I knew you would.
I've got a couple sort of local government would you rathers. And this one, I have a few versions of this one because I'm actually not sure which is the best. So would you rather be Chicago mayor or Cook County State's attorney?
Mayor.
And why? Is that just because of the power? Is that because, like, why?
The power, and I just have some ideas on how to be more likable.
Okay.
I got ideas.
Yeah, until you get that discretion to sign contracts behind closed doors, and then all of a sudden, Michelle is bringing all kinds of events to the city.
I know that reeks of hubris, Michelle.
I got some ideas. First off, I think last couple mayors have gotten kind of like, I feel like there wasn't that much respect because they get kind of outed as like they didn't grow up here. So I already feel like I have kind of a hand up. Like I did grow up here, specifically the South Side. My family's here.
You referred there to the fact that our current mayor, Brandon Johnson, sort of born and raised in Elgin, but he lives on the West Side now. And then Lori Lightfoot and Rahm Emanuel were both transplants, I believe, to Chicago. And so
I have some in. I'm also really involved in my community, not to toot my own horn, but I'm like, I feel like I have an in. I already know a couple groups that would kind of like vouch for me and be like, nah, she's cool. And I would also be able to infiltrate all those Chicago Instagram news pages and kind of just go through.
You're already talking about surveilling the populace of Chicago?
Not surveilling. There's just this issue with misinformation. I would be able to just kind of like talk straight to the people, like straight to the source. Like I would just be like, I feel like I would just like all my like addresses and stuff, like I would post them myself on my Instagram and on my TikToks.
Do you have enough followers for that?
I would eventually though, like my following would grow if I was running for mayor. So yeah, I don't know. I think I have some really good ideas on how to make things work. Would I get us out of debt? Probably not, but the vibes would be immaculate.
That's what matters.
Off that, I would probably win, and it would be a pretty successful run.
Okay, let me ask a different version. Would you rather be Chicago mayor or Illinois governor?
Mayor, because I'm gonna be real. I don't really know much about the rest of the state, so that would definitely be my weakness.
Jacoby, you said you'd be the governor?
Yeah, I'd be the governor.
Why?
Supermajority, baby. What are we talking about?
The Democrats have a super majority in Springfield. Yes,
exactly. I do think there are a few drawbacks to all of them, but the one thing I do different is I do think the Illinois governor is insulated by the fact that they can always do what I think others do, which is scapegoat the Chicago mayor. Mm-hmm. I do think the Chicago mayor has a limited source of people they can scapegoat. And so in order of these three, state's attorney is last. I ain't trying to be the police. Let's just keep it all the way real. I don't want to have anything to do with making decisions on people being thrown into our carceral system. Mayor, I pick mayor over state's attorney because even if you're a one-term mayor, Brandon Johnson is 48 years old. Even if he's a one-term mayor, you talking 5-figure, 6-figure speaking deals rest of his life, whether you like him or not. He can teach at major universities. He's going to get gala speech after gala speech after gala speech. They'll move on and start blaming the next mayor. Who's talking about Lori Lightfoot right now?
Lori Lightfoot is living her best life right now.
Who's talking about Lori Lightfoot
really
right
is.
now? Nobody. Still pops up on random Instagrams. Been on a TV show.
She got that
Dilla,
Harvard
got a teaching position.
Yeah.
So I do think the storm clouds are hanging over Brandon Johnson right now. I think the approval ratings, the way he's getting killed, all of these things are tough. He's not really helping himself in his public speaking performances, which I personally think I would absolutely kill. I think I'd have such a leg up on so many mayors. Illinois governor, though, sign me up for that one. Super majority, yes, you're splitting Illinois between like some really conservative red factions and some like really strong city-leaning blue factions. That's probably the toughest part. But I think in that case, like, think of how crass Governor Pritzker has gotten to be sort of anti-Trump, knowing how many people in Illinois are Trump voters. It's because he's protected. He doesn't have to really gingerly walk the line between these two extremes in the way other governors have to do. And so give me governor. Before we get out of here, there were a couple of more options that we wanted to kind of rapid fire through. So let's go with the first one. Would you rather get lost on Lower Wacker or get lost on the Pedway? For me, this is easy, the Pedway. I'd rather get lost on the Pedway.
Padway.
Yeah. Because at least I'm not in the middle of Gotham, like wondering if like I'm finna get my face smashed in by either Batman or one of his comical villains.
It is funny. We did pose this question to Hey Chicago readers, and 76% of them also said the Pedway. And mostly it was like, well, there's stuff to do down there. Like, you know, you can get up to the shops, or you can like, you know, you can find some stuff to do. Whereas if you're in your car on Lower Wacker, you're kind of just, well, I'll figure it out.
This next one is really nice because if people are following our Instagram, they know that we're currently giving away $1,500 in gift cards to one lucky individual that will give you 12 gift cards to 12 of our favorite Chicago restaurants, places like Giant, Virtue, Kasama, Osito's Tap. And so this one I think is really interesting because how much do you love your favorite restaurant? Would you rather eat only from your favorite restaurant or never eat at your favorite restaurant again?
Never eat at my favorite restaurant again.
Same.
And I think just because I can probably find a good proximate version of whatever my favorite thing is somewhere else, frankly.
The last one, we've already talked about being on the L for 24 hours, how terrible it is. But would you rather ride the L for 24 hours or be stuck in traffic on the expressway for 24 hours?
If it's like in an Uber, I would probably do the expressway for 24 hours.
Interesting. I would do the L regardless, even if I'm by myself in a car.
Oh, no.
I would absolutely do the L for 24 hours.
Because I could sleep in there, have some phone time.
I actually think Michelle makes a good point. If I'm in the back seat, I'd chill in the car. If I'm supposed to be driving, I'd be on the train. I'd be on the train.
Yeah. As the resident driver, I would absolutely choose not to drive. I would absolutely choose to hang out on the L. Just see what's going on. People watch, go to sleep, wake up, switch cars, see what's happening.
If you are listening to this, and again, you agree or disagree with us, or you came up with some of your own options that you think would work for part 2 when we eventually come back to this amazing format, please, please, please reach out to us at 773-780-0246. Leave us a text message with your name, your neighborhood, and your suggestions and your answers, or leave us a voicemail and give yourself a chance to hear yourself on the podcast. Join me in giving a huge round of applause and thank yous to our guest today, executive producer Simone Alicea. Always good to have you on, my friend.
Hey, thanks, Jacoby.
And producer Michelle Navarro.
Thanks, Jacoby.
Before we get out of here, please bookmark our website, chicago.citycast.fm. There you can subscribe to our daily newsletter, Hey Chicago, check out our latest articles, our neighborhood and walking guides, so much more. Of course, I can't let you go without some good news. We got some great events coming up for you this weekend, including the Urban Short Film Fest at Harper Theater in Hyde Park, kicking off tomorrow from 6 to 10. Winterfest starts up in Evanston at 7:30 and runs through the weekend. And then tomorrow, Lunar New Year celebrations kick off at the Dan Ryan Woods for free from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more events, go to that website, chicago.citycast.fm, bookmark it, and head to our events calendar. Hey, I appreciate you for listening and reading. We're going to be back bright and early tomorrow. We'll talk to you then. Peace.